welcome to the AOR Classic Christmas Cup. Today it's round 2 of the championship on the PlayStation 4 around the Silverstone circuit in the Red Bull Racing RB6. Luke Etheridge here commentating. Alongside me we have Austin. Austin, how's it going?
It's going pretty well, Luke. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks. I'm looking forward to hopefully an exciting race. The Christmas Cup always seems to bring a bit more excitement and chaos compared to the rest of the season. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, as I know the first round on the PlayStation 4 wasn't streamed, it is only a 25% race. The grid for this race has been decided by the results of the last race. Just quickly go through that. It was Casper who took the victory, Iceman and Wobberface, so they will be starting near the back of the grid as the formation lap goes ahead now. It's 5 different races, 5 different cars, 5 different tracks. Anything can happen.
Yeah, pretty much. And we are all underway in a car that has won this very race the very year it competed, the Red Bull Racing RB6, also known as Luscious Liz.
Luscious Liz, Randy Mandy the other one?
Randy Mandy was the other one that Vettel had to use after he had a chassis change after the Monaco Grand Prix, which was the very first race he used Luscious Liz. He used Randy Mandy, sorry. The very infamous 2010 collision between the two Red Bulls happened. For those that remember this one, everyone remembers that one.
Yeah, Vettel and Webber at Turkey. Vettel pretty much saying what he thought the fault lied for that crash. There was a bit of team controversy with Red Bull as well at the British Grand Prix. They had 2 new front wings. It was the famous Red Bull gives you wings unless your name is Mark Webber, in which case they take them off you and give them to your teammate. So Sebastian Vettel got the brand new front wing, which Mark Webber felt gave the German an advantage. Vettel qualified on pole. Webber ended up shoving Vettel wide at the start of the race. This was the last year, 2010, to actually have Copse as the first corner, even though it was the new track layout, the new pits and the Silverstone wing weren't ready. And Webber took the victory and famously told everyone that he hadn't done bad for a number 2 driver. So we see the field of Red Bulls getting ready. That is a very interesting sight. I mean, F1's not too far off that. With 2 tenths of the grid, a 5th is owned by Red Bull, so we're not too far from that.
Yeah, fair enough. As the drivers do approach the grid, and they will get ready for 13 laps of Christmas racing.
Yeah, 13 laps of Christmas racing, no KERS and no DRS, so they're going to have to do some overtaking the old-fashioned way. No compulsory pit stops, either, of course, only being a 13-lap race. It is Britain, so rain could happen, but though it does look like beautiful blue skies for the start of this race, and it should be a fascinating race indeed. Who will take victory in round 2 of the Christmas Cup? All the cars are lined up on the grid now as we wait for the lights to come on. Here they are, lighted up. Round 2 of the Christmas Cup from Silverstone is underway, and we are racing here tonight. It's a fairly even start from those on the front row, but Fairhan's got a fantastic start. He's flown away as we head into turn 1. There's quite a few cars running wide there, but everyone looks to have got through unscathed. But so Fairhan going into the lead as we come into the new complex. Declan having a go at Sam Gamer, and he's locked up, and that has allowed Rafa Kamina to go all the way around the outside of him. But Fairhan getting away well. Vasta Racer, he's dropped down towards the back of the field as well, so he must have been involved. There's a few cars running wide. We've got some side-by-side action there. Solid Ninja State getting himself involved in some exciting action, but everyone seems to have got through relatively unscathed through them first few corners.
Yeah, not just that. You see, Farhan is already building a lead over a second. 2 Tactician, who had a really good start, went up from 4th to 2nd, but Farhan from 3rd into the lead. Declan and Sam Gamer both with quite bad starts. Declan even more so. He was on pole all the way down in 5th place now, the Brit here in his home race. To be fair, plenty of drivers on this grid have their home race here at Britain.
Yeah, expect to see those at the back making their way up, of course, because of the reverse grid. An example of that, Casper, he has got up 7 places on that first lap. Fantastic for him. We're seeing a lot of slipstreaming further down. Solid down the inside of Declan, so he gets back up into 5th place. So it's been an even more of a nightmare for Declan now. He has lost another place as he tries to fight back down the inside through Club and Vale, but Solid hanging on. But at the end of the first lap, it's Furhan in the lead, Tactician second, Sam Gamer third. There is a different point system as well for the Christmas Cup, so if you finish the race you are guaranteed points, and there is no points for a fastest lap, so there are no reason for these guys to pull over if they don't feel like things are going their way. Sam Gamer trying to fight back at Tactician now to try and stop Furhan pulling away at the front of the field. Yeah,
meanwhile, You Got Smashed is way down the order. He must have lost a couple places here. He's down 7 seconds on multi. I don't know what happened to him, but something must have happened, that's for sure. Casper, meanwhile, trying to make his way past Declan, past the pole sitter. Has the inside now here, but can't make the move stick. Now they're approaching Cops. That might be the next best chance. He takes the inside. Oh, is it there? It is not yet there. They're still side by side. He's still holding on, trying to make the move. I can't see them anymore. There they are, still side by side through Maggots and Beckett's. I think Casper has got it done, and there goes Declan. Spins on the exit of Chapel and is very well to keep it out of the wall, but he loses a whole lot of time and a whole lot of places all the way down to P16.
Yeah, Declan didn't finish last time out. That is why he got pole position. This time around, Casper became very close to touching through there, but great driving from the two of them. So Fairhand still carrying away at the start of the field, 1.4 seconds. His advantage now, only 11 laps remaining. So if Tactician wants to get right onto the back of him, he's going to have to get a move on. Again, no DRS on these cars, so you've got to do it the old-fashioned way. There's no getting in within a second and helping yourself to a bit of DRS to reduce the downforce. And there's no KERS either, although it was legal in 2010. All the teams decided not to use it. Rafa Kamina, he's slipstreaming on Sam Gamer now. Gamer having to go defensive as we head into Woodcote. He's just about stayed ahead there now, but you can try and fight back into Luffield. Both of them running slightly wide. You got smashed, getting smashed by the stewards there with a 3-second penalty. And will Rafa be able to copy what we saw Casper do on the previous lap? Gamer going more defensive into Cop, so just stopping that, and I think he'll have held that on. Hanger Straight will be the next opportunity for them, and these front four are pulling away a bit from Solid Ninja Snake, 1.5 seconds behind them.
Yeah, you can see the first gaps building, but I'm not so sure this is the end of it. I mean, we have Casper, the race winner from last time out, flying through the field, already gaining 8 positions. We have API Radical, who wasn't even here last time. I think, let's see, who is API Radical? I think that might be... Oh, I'm gonna have to... Oh, I don't know. That is such a good question. Let's see, what is his flag? He is driving on the British flag, I think. Oh, I have no idea.
All those Christmas chocolates have clearly got to your vein, Austin.
Sorry, yeah, no, he's driving on a Finnish flag. It's RJS, there you go, that's his name in the forum. Yeah, he hasn't been here. He's listed as 20th in the championship, but obviously with plenty of people not participating. 6 drivers didn't participate in the first race. That doesn't mean all too much, and we still have this one and 3 more races to come, but he is driving very well here.
Sorry to interrupt, Austin. Casper's got himself down the inside at Woodcote. Solid Ninja Snake fighting back though through Luffield. The 2 Red Bulls going to go side by side. I'm sure if Christian Horner was here, his foot would be tapping like a good one, as it usually does. Is Casper. We've seen him try and have a go on Cops earlier on Declan. He's a bit more alongside than he was earlier on Solid, but Solid managing to hold on. So will he be able to do it through Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel as he did a lap previously? Sam Gamer now getting a penalty as he's trying to keep up with Tactician, and Solid just keeping ahead for now. Now the slipstream down the Hanger Straight. Expect to see Solid to go defensive. Surprised he hasn't there. He's going to try and hold it off all the way around the outside. Just ran a bit wide there though, did Solid, and in the end Casper takes the place for now. He is up into 5th place, and Rafa will be his next target.
Yeah, meanwhile, I was on board with Rafa Kamina, and he had a huge slide on the exit of Chapel. Lost a whole lot of time there, and he is pretty much a second behind Sam Gamer now, and he might be falling into the clutches of Casper soon. We still have 9 laps to go here. Well, because, I mean, lap 5 just got started, really, so 8 laps plus the end of this one, pretty much 9 laps. And Furhan's still very, very controlled at the front. He doesn't seem to budge much. The DNF that he had in the first race at Suzuka seems to have helped him get a good starting position, and now his pace certainly on par with a driver like Tactician.
Yeah, if we just have a look at the fastest laps of all the different drivers, you can see him and Tactician are the only drivers to have got underneath 1 minute 30 at the moment. So Furhan making the best of the free air and pulling away. If we have a look at the gaps, you can see there's 1.7 seconds ahead at the moment. There's some movement further down the field. Faster Racer and Iceman battling for 10th and 11th. The two Red Bulls, obviously, like, they're all Red Bulls, aren't they, in this race? What am I talking about? Forget that entire sequence just happened. Faster Racer has stayed in 10th place, so he has got himself ahead of Iceman, and you've got Linaro and Ragnar battling further back as well. Solid Ninja Snake has dropped back quite a bit now from Casper. Dave Kennedy's got within a second. Tactician now setting the fastest lap of the race.
Guinnett to win it just went for the move into the club section. Late on the brakes, but not too late. Makes the move stick on API Radical. Radical trying to fight back, but a good defending here from Guinnett. And they go, oh my god, this is almost bump drafting here, what we see between those two. That's how close they are. And Guinnett goes a bit wide. Ooh, he had a little bit of a slide on there, but manages to keep the car on its wheels and moving straight forward instead of to the side.
Yeah, they do have full damage and not simulation damage, so you can't get away from it with it just a tiny bit more. Get it to win it, having to go defensive this time. AP Radical's going to try round the outside, but we've said it before, this Woodcote Luffield section just allows you to get a better exit possibly than your opponent, but get it to win it. Very planted in that Red Bull. You'd expect that from all the Adrian Newey cars. Other interesting point to note is that all the drivers aren't allowed to use their own custom setups in this race. It's only the preset ones, so that just makes things a little bit more difficult for some of these guys who I'm sure will be used to fine-tuning every element of their car. You can see Iceman now all over the back of AP Radical as well. So 8th, 9th and 10th looking like a very interesting battle.
Yeah, Guinnett to win it. Meanwhile, went a little bit wider. Oh, they collide, and API Radical is out, and Guinnett to win it. Huge damage for him. Very unlucky. What happened was Guinnett to win it on the exit of Chapel. He went wide, basically, on the exit of Beckett's, and then on the grass through Chapel, came back onto the track, obviously slow. And both API Radical and who was the other one? I think it was Iceman. Had a huge run on him, and he was trying to, I think he was just trying to get out of the way for the most part, and unfortunately tangled up with API Radical, who is our first DNF of this race.
Yeah, such a shame for API Radical there, as Vasta Racer now battling with Limaro for 9th place. So we're coming down the farm straight now. They are side by side. Vasta Racer has the inside line though, so you'd expect him to just get the move done. This time around, Limaro can't get the cutback done on this occasion. Vasta Racer has gone more wide, but again, that does give you the better exit as you head down the old pit straight, heading towards Cop. So Vasta Racer will stay in 9th, Limaro in 10th. I agree with you, Austin. It was just such a shame. I think get it to win it, as you said, just got it slightly wrong coming out of Chapel, and the closing speeds, such a vast difference between them. Contact was almost inevitable, and it's bunching up now for 3rd place, the final podium position. We are just over halfway. At the end of this lap there will be 6 laps remaining, and it's still Furhan Racer. Tactician has got that gap down to within a second though. Then it is this battle you are looking at the moment. Sam Gamer, Rafa Kamina and Casper.
Yeah, you see how much Casper has gained on pretty much everyone except maybe Tactician, but everyone else ahead of him, he is reeling in those drivers. The question is, does he have enough time with 6 laps remaining to make enough moves to maybe even get the win? I think that might be a little bit out of the question. The podium, however, is certainly possible. And the one good news I would say for API Radical, to come back to him, is that he is going to start from pole position at the very next race.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about getting involved in anyone else's collisions. The next race, just to remind you, will take place on Friday in the Williams FW25 around Monza, so expect a slipstream fest around there, and we could be seeing some slipstreaming very soon at the front of this race. Furhan now down to just 2/10 the gap between himself and Tactician. Tactician's not going to be close enough to do anything through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. It's only Casper, unsurprisingly, has been brave enough to do anything through there, but he's got a better exit than the race leader. He's just going to be too far behind though, I feel, to do anything into Stowe, but if he gets this exit right, he could be looking good through Club and Vale.
Yeah, and I think Tactician might be on a more downforce oriented setup here than Furhan. Again, as you said, they can only choose between 5 presets. Those presets differ quite drastically in downforce and top speed. And I wouldn't be surprised if Furhan has a more top speed oriented setup preset used than Tactician, who is probably more on a downforce kind of setup, because you would expect in the slipstream Tactician to gain a lot more time than he actually does.
Yeah, that's the problem, of course. It's all well and good being fast through the corners, but most of the overtaking in Formula 1 happens at the end of the straights or on the straights, just using the power of the slipstream. So Furhan might be able to just hold him up a bit here, and that could cause some of them behind, Sam Gamer, Rafa and Casper, to just catch up slightly. So gap staying pretty even on this lap. The top 5 still separated by around 4 seconds, 4.5 laps remaining here. Round 2 at the Christmas Cup. API Radical, the only retirement so far after his collision with Get It to Win It. We saw Declan get involved in a spin earlier. That's the pole sitter as well, so he's going to be starting towards the head of the field next time around. Casper's got a bit of a run on Kamina here, but there's not enough of a braking zone to do anything about it into Stowe, and he's just too far back this time around. So if he does want to get on the podium, if he's got a much better exit though than Kamina, Kamina's having to go very defensive. Oh, getting very close between them. Kamina braked as late as possible, locked up slightly there. Casper still going alongside him there through Vale, and that's just allowed Sam to get away slightly. So the podium slipping away here from Casper slightly down the inside of Abbey. That's not normally an overtaking point, and Rafa Kamina having to get his foot out of the throttle there. Casper hard but fair as he gets up into 4th.
Yeah, but that cost both of them a lot of time here. At least 1.5 seconds they both lost on this maneuver. And yeah, Sammy is driving away from this battle and from Casper. And he might have secured himself 3rd place with that.
Yeah, so it's 2.5 seconds now, the gap between Casper and the Sam Gamer. Only 3.5 laps remaining. Furhan just keeping Tactician at bay at the moment. You got smashed having to come into the pits. No pit stops, of course, so we can only imagine that he's got damage. There is some battles further down the field as well. On board with Multi-Rab C in 13th place at the moment, started in 15th, so has gained a few positions, but after a good performance last time out for him, he'll be disappointed that he hasn't made a few more places up this time around.
Yeah, and for P13 for Multi, this would be a whole total of 8 points that he would get. So he would still be towards the end of the standings and towards the front of the grid for the next race.
Yeah, just a reminder again, it is done on the championship standings, the reverse grids, not on the race results. Casper has closed the gap up a bit more, so he's now just 2.2 seconds behind Sam Gain. You can see he's gained over a second on that lap alone. He is a man possessed. He wants to get as high up as possible to try and maintain that championship lead. Sam Gamer is catching up slightly to Tactician and Furhan, and I think you're right, Tactician must have more downforce, because I would have expected him, with the way he was catching up, to have managed to make a move in the slipstream by now. But all credit to Furhan, he is soaking up the pressure at the front of the field.
Yeah, meanwhile, don't forget that Sam Gamer does have a 3-second time penalty, so there is a really good chance if Casper just stays where he is, he would get a podium, as long as he himself doesn't get a 3-second time penalty.
Tactician's got a 3-second time penalty as well now, so that could give Casper a chance to get up into 2nd place even.
Oh wow, yeah, he did. Just this lap picked it up. Furhan has 1 warning, so he could afford a 2nd one scot-free, and then the 3rd gives him a penalty. Casper hasn't even had a single warning. That is just
here it comes, Tactician down the inside. He's got a much better exit through Chapel. Still fighting off with Furhan. There's a bit of lag from Furhan. That's making it a bit more tough to pass Furhan just held him off around the outside there at Stowe, so he's giving it a try. He's determined tactician to try and get past, but all this battling will help Sam Gamer catch up, and Casper as well, of course. 2 laps remaining now. Casper 128.8, fastest lap of the race once again. First man in the 128s. Tactician can't do anything this time around. Furhan locks up slightly, but gets away with it, and Sam Gamer now less than a second behind this battle.
Yeah, and Casper's closing in as well. He's now 3 seconds behind the leaders, which, again, he gained another second on the last lap. So expect him to maybe play a role towards the very, very end. If Furhan and Tactician start to battle it out, there is a really good chance that Casper might get involved here as well. And Sam Gamer, obviously, who's in between this whole group as well.
Yeah, it's very possible we could have a 4-way battle for the lead. Rafa's dropped off slightly, and in fact, just keeping it around a second ahead of Solid Ninja Snake. That gap has come down slightly. Solid was looking under threat from Dave Kennedy earlier. Sam Gamer gets himself another 3-second time penalty. He'll be a bit annoyed with himself over such a short race to have got himself 2 time penalties. Tactician in the slipstream, but much further back than he was last time around. So we're soon going to be coming around onto the final lap. Furhan running very wide there as you got smashed. Retires from the session, the second retirement from this race, so no points for him. That will give him a good starting place next time around. But the final lap, Furhan, Tactician, Sam Gamer and Casper. You can see the first 3 of those on your screen. And now, who knows who's going to be the winner across the finish line from penalties. You'd have to say Furhan looks in a good place to take the victory after they are applied, but I don't think that's going to stop Tactician trying to get the victory out on track.
Yeah, I have to agree. Declan also out of the race now. Hold on, let me see where he is. Oh, we might still... Oh, this might be on the exit of Chapel. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. On the left side there. Probably lost it into the wall. Pretty much, I would expect a similar thing as API Radical had with Ginner to win it, except that Declan most likely was on his own.
Yeah, so Declan out of the race. Iceman and Vasta Race are swapping places further back for 8th and 9th. But Furhan's doing a very good job here. And if he keeps it clean from Chapel and Maggots and Beckett, you feel like the victory could well be his. Yeah, Tactician just too far back. Sam Gamer not able to get closer as well. Casper's dropped a bit further back on this lap as well. So coming around Stowe now, Furhan, he got an absolutely fantastic...
Oh, Tactician goes way wide. And that might have lost him this potential second place. He almost had a 3-second gap to Casper, but Furhan comes across the line to take the win. Tactician second for now, drops down to 3rd. Casper takes 2nd place and will stay in the championship lead with now a win and a 2nd place. Very, very well done from him, from 14th place all the way up to 2nd.
Yeah, fantastic result for him. In the end, Sam Gamer dropped down to 6th place after all the penalties were applied. We've got the final few cars coming across the line. Ragnar, 10th position for him after penalties are applied. And still, you've got JG and Multi at RABC battling it out for what is now 12th place after the retirement. In the end, it's going to be JG who's going to hold up on to that place. And then F1 Ginit to win it will be the final driver across the finish line in 14th place after his incident early on. But in the end, it was all about the start of the race for Furhan. Fantastic start, and he just pulled away and soaked up the pressure brilliantly from Tactician.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the very last finisher here, Ginner to win it, it will be 7 points. For the winner, Furhan, it will be 45. That big of a difference. Those positions and between the whole grid, but a German on the top step of the podium at the British Grand Prix. I love to see it, don't you?
It's absolutely fantastic. I can't think of anything I'd love to see more.
I could hear how genuine that was.
So absolutely genuine. Love it. I mean, to be fair, this season a German on top of the podium might have meant like more interesting championship battles, but that's another story for another time. Anyway, as we go through the Results from this race: Verhan with the victory. Casper coming up from 14th to 2nd. Superb performance by our championship leader. Tactician in 3rd place, recovering after not a great result last time out. Rafa Kamina 4th. Solid Ninja Snake 5th. Sam Gamer 2 penalties, dropping him down to 6th place. Fellow Canadian behind him, Dave Kennedy in 7th. Iceman, Vasta Racer and Ragnar completing the top 10. Limaro, JG, Multi and Ginit to win it were the final finishers. We saw Declan retire at Chapel. You got smashed. We didn't quite see what happened with his retirement. And API Radical, of course, getting caught up with Ginit to win it earlier on in the race. We were hoping we were going to get a 4-way battle for the lead, but in the end, Fairhan and Tactician just had enough pace to try and stop Sam Gamer and Casper getting involved. But it was a very interesting race. Casper will be delighted with how he fought his way up through the field cleanly as well, getting no penalties.
Yeah, and I'm trying to do some math in my head right now based on what the standings are going to be like. Casper obviously in the championship lead now with a whopping 83 points after 2 races. 90 is the maximum, so he's pretty much up there. 2nd place, I think right now, if I haven't made a mistake, is Iceman with 54 points. So he's 29 behind already.
Yeah, 29 points is the gap between 1st and 8th in the championship. So a top 8 position for Casper next time out will pretty much keep him in the lead of the championship. Yeah. So he's looking good so far, and it's a very different track next time around, because on screen there is the car they will be using, the 2003 Williams FW25 around the Temple of Speed Monza. That will be on the Friday after Christmas with Austin and Andy, who are one of our regular PS4 Tier 1 commentators. Definitely enjoyed tonight, Austin.
Yeah, same. I'm looking forward to December 27th in the Williams around Italy. Oh, this should be fun. I could not think of I could think of one better car and track combination. That would obviously be a Ferrari around Italy, but other than, we will use a Ferrari in Belgium on the 29th, but the Williams F25 around Italy, I mean, that's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, the German engineering in the engine with that BMW did produce some immense power back in the V10 days, and that will be on action after Christmas. So from Austin and myself, that is everything. Have a very Merry Christmas, and Austin will see you guys with Andy on Friday around Monza. Good night.